Yes, I think we're on. There we go. Love technology when it works. Hello and welcome to my interview series Beyond Limits. And today I've got the lovely Cath Mabbott by my side. And I'd love for you to drop in the comments where you're tuning in from. We're a global business and I love that. And I'm really curious to see where you're watching from. And if you're watching the replay, drop a hashtag replay in the comments and leave us some nice comments so we can interact. So I'll just quickly introduce Kat. She's a mum and she loves her dogs and her pony. And she worked in corporate for about 25 years, but was done with the BS of a capped income that kept her stuck. So she made a decision. She chose something different and she decided to choose herself. And she chose to invest in herself and create a life more on her terms with a proven business blueprint. So can you just tell me what your story was, this situation, before you jumped into this online business?
Yeah, wow. Thank you. Hey, Maria. So nice to actually do this interview with you as well. Yeah, look, there was a lot going on, but it's so much. It's just so much. But ultimately, short story, I had been working in corporate, like you said, for 25 years, and I found myself just so exhausted and burnt out. That was huge. And I'd been like that for a long, long time. Um, but I kept retraining and looking for something more, something better. And I found every time I did that, I wasn't actually finding what I was looking for. I was actually
Mm.
working harder, getting more work. Yes, maybe a little bit more money, but more work. And the more that I worked and the harder I got, the higher risk my role became, actually. So I'd been through a number of
Uh-huh.
restructures and mergers, and yeah, got bumped a couple of times in that sort of process, and that's just soul destroying. And
Yeah.
on top
Yeah.
of that, just working against my values for so many years. There were so many things I didn't agree with and was asked to do and felt I had to do in that space. Um, I just couldn't do
Mm.
it anymore. I just couldn't.
No, no,
Mm, yeah.
no. It sounds soul destroying, really. As you said, you're really trading time for money
Yeah.
and don't
Yeah.
get much else for it. Yeah, yeah,
No.
yeah. So you jumped into this online business. Can you tell us some of the challenges that you faced?
Yeah. I think the initial challenges definitely were my own preconceived ideas. When I first came across this business, um, it was so different to anything I'd probably ever looked at or considered for myself before. There was that. And then there were voices from other people telling me I was mad. But there were also
Mm,
my own voices or voices from years ago where I had preconceived ideas built in over the years that maybe I couldn't do it, or maybe this wouldn't work, or maybe it was even a scam. So all that stuff was coming up for
keep
me. So
on.
yeah. So I didn't jump in straight away. So
Mm-hmm.
I really struggled with that stuff for a little while, and something kept niggling at me though to go back and actually have
Yeah.
another look. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
love that because, yeah, I was a bit the same. I sat on the fence for quite a while. I could
Mm,
see some friends of mine online and they were doing something different. And
yeah.
Carmen, who's my mentor now, I remember because I knew her through the horsey world. And I remember contacting her and say, Carmen, I don't know what you're doing, but are you sure this is not a scam? Is this above board? I was
Mm,
very, very skeptical.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, but she pointed me in the right direction and showed me a
Yeah,
webinar. And
yeah,
once I saw that, and I just knew, as you said, it felt good. It kept
yeah,
calling me, and I
yeah.
knew I had to continue. I couldn't just step away
Mm,
without actually really looking into it.
yeah,
That's I think sometimes I always say this business found me,
Mm,
not the other way around, because it
yeah.
really calls out to people. And if whoever is watching now, you'll probably feel the same. You are
Mm,
curious. You're here
mm,
for a reason. So,
100%.
what would you say is your greatest like transformation since you started this business? How did
Oh,
it change your life?
yeah. Oh, look, so many things again. Like it's just so big, so many things. But if I had to really bring it down to one or two things, was the peace that it's given me.
Mhm. Oh
Um,
wow! Yeah.
yeah. So in terms of just that absolute exhaustion and hustle and to be able to step out of that. And that's not
Yeah.
easy to do. It wasn't just one step, it's been several steps, but to step out of that and actually start to feel safe in myself again, that I have the power to ultimately take back my financial security and have control
Oh
of that.
yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Yes,
Mm,
yes. And I totally agree. This
mm,
business gives you the power, puts
mm,
you in control.
yeah.
And yes, there are some skill sets to learn, but I
Mm.
was like, I didn't really know anything about doing business
Me
online when
either.
I started. I was online, but just,
Yeah.
scrolling
Yeah.
like everyone else does.
Yeah.
And so I learned a skill set, and I realized that anybody can do this if you're open,
Mm.
if you're coachable, if
Yes.
you're willing to
Yeah.
learn new things. You can do this.
Mm.
But the biggest thing for me, and you sort of touched on that, is the mindset and how it
Mm.
changes you. As you said, you found your
Mhm.
peace. Stop the
Yeah.
hustle and the bustle and the running and your mind
Yes.
going all the time.
Mm.
And
Mm.
yeah, I find that too. I used
Mm.
to be very, very anxious. And
Yeah.
now I'm a different person,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
this business has brought that to us. So do you have any advice for people who are looking? Because I know people are
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah.
What
Look,
piece of advice would you give them?
I would tell them not to do what I did. And I actually I actually sat on the fence for about 3 years.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and here's the thing, back to I let my preconceived ideas stop me from even looking at all of the information. So I had myself so wound up in yes, my own hustle and exhaustion. There was that. To then go that to be really clear with myself, that was not working, and to honor myself with some time to actually look at something properly. I didn't do that. So that's first. Honor yourself with the
Mhm.
time to look at something properly. And then when you do, you can make a fully informed decision for yourself. I did not do that. I sat on it for 3 years. I looked half at the information, but I could not ignore not just what was going on in my life, and it wasn't getting any better, but I couldn't ignore, like I said, the niggling or the intuition. Like it just kept going, go back and look at that. Because I tried a lot of other things. I've done a whole range of
Mhm.
other bits and pieces, and they weren't the answer. And something just kept at me going, go back and look at that
Ah,
again.
wow.
This time
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
really good look, and I did. And when I saw the business model, it blew me away.
Yeah, yeah. And
Mm.
I think, I mean, I was the same. I didn't go into it well, for me, it was not years, but at least
Mm.
6 or 7 months.
Yeah,
And it was just fear because I didn't
yeah.
really know what I was saying no to, or, I
No,
just didn't know. And,
no,
and this sort of business model, it's so unique. You won't find it anywhere else. So
no.
your only way to find out about it is to dive in. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
as you said so lovely, honor yourself, give yourself
Mm,
that time to watch
mm,
a webinar. So
mm.
if you guys are curious and want to know more, drop me a message or drop an information in the comments, and we will link you up with our latest webinar. It doesn't cost you anything apart from some of your time. and you will be very, very surprised what you find. So, Kat, thank you so much for your valuable insights. That was a real
You're
pleasure to
welcome.
talk to you. And
Thank you, Maria.
yeah, we'll see you again soon. Thanks for
Yeah,
watching.
thank you.